So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Claudia Stephenson from Invent Group.
Testing. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? Okay, let's go into, I've got a lot going on here with the mic in one hand and the clicker in the other. So let me introduce myself. My name is Claudia Stephenson. I am the Managing Director for EMEA with Invent Group. We have a team of creatives and strategists and producers that are supporting a multitude of different engagements in this world of live brand storytelling. So I'm going to talk to you today about Web3, but not limited to the metaverse, and really want to take a focus on innovation and technology in these applications of that. Before I do that, just a little bit of background about the business. Invent is now almost 180 people worldwide. We have 9 offices that you see sprinkled throughout the world. My remit within EMEA is then our Dubai office that we have. We have a studio as well in Stockholm. And then you see our APAC region where we've got Singapore and Sydney, and headquartered out of North America, founded in 2008. And certainly doing a multitude of different projects, of which I will share with you a few of these. So the business was founded really in this quadrant of Invent, which is the live brand storytelling agency, everything in this live space. Scott Cullether, our co-founder with Christina McCubry, really identified a gap in the market of what we were seeing of opportunities to have more of an integrated offering when we are telling these stories. And so the different disciplines within the business are including then Heavy, which is a branded content business, really focused on socializing stories in a digital space, in a digital manner. So we're working with head of communications, head of social, to extend and socialize message in a digital capacity. Folk Hero, which is a fantastic, I think, fantastic name. When you think of folk stories, they're easy to remember and they're simple. This is the strategy side of our business, where we help clients understand and be able to really distinctly identify what it is and what the mission of their brand or their new launch is. And then we have a culture consultancy, so really being able, thinking about businesses as they are developing and creating and growing, having a clear culture and a mission within the business allows you to be able to go out and tell a very clear story about the business and what that is. So you've got to be having a very clear culture and understanding of the business so that you can share that with others. And then the last business, which I'll get into a little bit further a little later, is Invent.atom, which was started earlier this year to focus really on the innovation side of the business. So all of these are quite specialized. We work with our clients. Someone might come in with a piece of strategy, and then they want to activate that into a live space where we will bring in a different discipline. But it allows us to have a more cohesive offering and be able to stay connected with our clients. Small example of some of the brands that we work with that includes a fair amount of global brands. So we really pride ourselves in being this challenger agency for challenger brands. If you think about challenger brands, these are ones that really find a uniqueness in the market and want to do things differently. And we thrive with that thinking in how can we challenge the way that something has been done, how a brand might be thought of, and how we can do things differently. And when we challenge ourselves, we come up with those better ideas. So it is the DNA of the agency, and we really work best with those brands that want to be those challengers and disruptors in the marketplace. So I wanted to just take you through a couple of these in the spirit of focusing on innovation. Something of what we're thinking of with innovation and digital first projects. When we think about then first the challenge, really the most critical thing that brands have the challenge on is not having the clarity on the characteristics that really create the authenticity and these engaging moments. So what is the opportunity here? A lot of brands are just copying what has been done or having these one-offs, and they're not really able to build that community and properly and authentically engage with the audience. So technology, and in the spirit of being here at Event Tech Live, what we are all here to do and learn more about is how can we leverage technology and innovation to be more authentic and strategically connect with our community and customers. So an example of this, if you think of Samsung, already a tech, one of the most forward-thinking tech brands in the world. Samsung had come to us, they had a different strategy. They are usually communicating via media events on an annual basis to launch their new mobile phones. They wanted to better connect to the Gen Z community because they have these technologies and fantastic technology in their phones, and they need to connect with them at that Gen Z level when people are first starting to use phones. I think we all know and understand when you get comfortable with a platform and a mobile device that you have, it's very difficult to switch and move over, right? So the strategy was we've got to be able to connect with this Gen Z audience, and how do we do that? We've got to create something that is, create content that is relevant to this community. So what was done differently this year via a global campaign that was not only in New York but also in London, in Regent Street, there was a 2-level activation that was a series of rooms and immersive experiences for Gen Z to go in and experience the services and the products and the attributes of these mobile phones. Immersive experience that provided rewards and incentives so that this Gen Z community really would create an affinity to the brand and connect with the brand. Many of you may have witnessed the growth and the craziness within the K-pop community. So Samsung have a strategic relationship as well with BTS. Coupled with this campaign was a digital campaign. There was a global launch of a BTS ballad that was promoted on one of the evenings when they had announced the launch. So on Piccadilly Circus, where you can see the square on the screens, BTS were there with the phones with an integrated campaign. My 2 young children actually were asking me, because I said, you've got to see what we've been working on. And the first thing they had asked me was, is there going to be anything to do? Am I going to have anything to do while I'm there? So I think just, again, a reaffirmation of the strategy behind how to connect with these audiences. Tactile, immersive experiences that allow a powerful narrative to be told about the brand and creating that fostering and the adoption. Another example here, Santander. You may have remembered earlier this year, Santander announced that they were coming back together with Ferrari Scuderia. Santander came to us. They were concerned as to how they were going to announce this. There were logistical challenges as to how this could be done and getting 2 executives into the same place, and came to us with this challenge of how do we communicate this with a focus on the key messages of sustainability, innovation, and future forward and thinking to the future. Our solution for that was a campaign, a digital campaign that was focused on and infused this type of message throughout this crafted and co-created content between Santander and Ferrari Scuderia, and really enabled the brand to be able to articulate what they wanted to communicate in a really powerful way out to the market. Resulted in incredible brand impressions globally and allowed for global reach of this incredible announcement and partnership. So if we think about our next step, I want to give an example in the auto space as to how we can leverage technology in innovation. Historically, automotive brand engagements have been done in real life, right? We have these auto launches. You may have media drives where the media are coming together and they are going to experience the latest and greatest of these new cars and what all these attributes are. And then they end up at the dealer and they're engaging then, again, all in an IRL space. Been very successful, it continues to be successful, and is this wonderful continuation of what we love to do. We love to interact with each other and be able to meet and connect. If we go into, though, this digital space and the evolution, I think we can all agree and attest, we as consumers are taking in information about new automotive products and services in a new way. You now see the larger trucks. Kazoo are delivering cars to our door. We are not oftentimes going to a dealer. The entire business model is changing and shifting and evolving. And so the digital purchasing, to align back to that, we are focused on what you see is the focus on digital media and compelling content. And I want to take you through an example of what we were working with GM as they had a debut at the Consumer Electronics Show. Consumer Electronics annual event that's held in Las Vegas. It's the largest electronics show in the world. And GM needed a way to be able to, again, connect authentically with this audience and reiterate how they were in this space and at the forefront of innovation, technology, and electrification. So we worked with Unreal Engine, a critical, really forward-thinking, cutting-edge, a piece of technology to craft chaptered storytelling of these key pivotal moments and the most important stories that GM wanted to share. Using Unreal Engine and using the studio, you can see the behind the scenes here. Everything behind these individuals here was not there. This was using Unreal Engine to be able to craft particular chapters and key messages. So not only was it, did it result in GM being able to narrate the message in a digital format, but allowed us to continue on with this digital engagement and how GM is connecting with their clients in the digital space. So if we think about what's next and Web3 and the metaverse, how many of you have heard about this word, the metaverse? It's the buzzword. Everyone's talking about it. What does it mean? We have clients asking that of us every day. And I just want to take a step back for a moment if we talk about then the evolution of what this is. We have Web 1 that, interestingly, I'm not sure if everyone knew, actually started even in the 90s. You think of the World Wide Web, and if we can think of the crackling and the connecting to the internet, and you've got mail when you are connecting. So this was a one-way, digital way to communicate in a new format. Web 2, interestingly, it started in 2000. It's the new platform where users can create and share content. Social media, you think of what we're witnessing today and have over the last 10 years or so. And then we go into Web 3. Web 3 enables for individuals to craft their own stories and their own point of view. And with AI technology, we really are seeing the next evolution of what is possible in this new world of Web 3. There's a fair amount of dialogue that is happening on a daily basis as to what is the value of this? What is the metaverse, cryptocurrencies, and is it going to be successful? And you see fluctuations in different ways. The market last year was valued at 40 million. And we look at this revenue forecast by 2030 to be 8 to 13 trillion. So when we consider this and look into the future, we talk about in 2026, 25% of people are going to be spending an hour in this space and in this immersive space, allowing organizations to have products and services and really increase the dwell time and understand their buying preferences. So if we just cut through and talk through these different layers of the metaverse, we start with even the infrastructure and the hardware. Everyone's getting 4G installed at their homes. I know Peter over here just had his internet speed increased from 36 megabytes to something 175 or something. That will continue pretty soon. We're going to be able to have hologram calls with our friends and relatives. If we have the human interface, we think about mobile and gesture and voice and wearables. This is another layer and another interaction as to how we will make a more creative and immersive space. If you think about decentralization, so decentralization, what that is meaning is then having an open way to communicate and not a one-way conversation. So decentralizing and enabling everyone to play a part and everyone to be involved. And then we go into the creator economy, spatial computing, discovery, and what we really love is then this experience and the opportunity that we see there with the experience. So I want to take you through an example of what Invent recently did and dabbling into the metaverse with Web3. Lamborghini, earlier this year, was completing the final car that they would have in a traditional gas-powered car, moving exclusively to electric vehicles. And they wanted to celebrate this. They wanted to announce this story and really create something that would be able to connect with legacy and history and celebrate what the future is for Lamborghini. So what we like to do is think about how can we create a wider community of how Lamborghini can engage with the brand. We worked with Krista Kim, who is a renowned NFT artist, to create a customized NFT of this new car that would be now in the metaverse, the first car to be in the metaverse. And Steve Aoki, who is a music artist, to create a customized track of music that would be bundled with this last car. And finally, we worked with RM Sotheby's, which is a renowned global auction house, to package and bundle this unique offering to the world so that anyone could have this opportunity to buy this last car. The promotion of this, again, if you think about cross-promoting and being able to reach additional communities, allowed us to be able to connect with more than 562 million media impressions. From an advertising equivalent, if you look at this was really incomparable to any other campaign that has been done in the past. The social reach of this was, again, exceeding all of the expectations. And if we talk about then even the outcome of the auction, any guesses for what this car was auctioned off for? One of the top 10 highest grossing auctions and highest selling cars of all time. This was sold for more than 1.6 million, which was just over 4 times the physical price of the price of a physical car, and creating all of this incredible memorabilia. So Invent are really committed to this future thinking and this future technology. I think it's something I love probably most about Invent is that Scott has this commitment and was even thinking 3 years ago, we've got to get into this space. It was before Facebook changed their name to Meta and dabbled into the space. We said, we've got to create something that is better than what we're seeing on Roblox and Decentraland, and how can we improve on that? So 3 years ago, this journey started with a business called Bazaar, an online retail space, community for everyone, where brands can come, where individuals can come, experience, immerse themselves into brands, allow to exchange ideas, allow to be part of a forum, purchase, right? You've got then the purchasing and the retail side of the collection, concerts, music artists being able to partner with different individuals. This also was built in Unreal Engine. You see the graphics and the output of this is really immersive and unlike anything that you're seeing out in the market at this place. It's receiving really incredible response. Each brand really want to get involved in this, and it's an interesting way to dabble into what this space is, but I think it also is unlimited in the potential. A lot of you are challenged with perhaps your manager is saying, okay, figure out what this is and we need to do something in this space. So what I would recommend really to you is understanding what you're wanting to achieve and how you can connect with new audiences. Perhaps that may be creating something that is immersive in some way. Perhaps it may be understanding your communities and how you can cross-pollinate other communities to bring them together in a new way. So this metaverse that we talk about is really the next level of this community that we will create, an immersive environments. I think the younger ones that aren't yet here with us at events like this are the ones that are going to be living in this world and have dwell time and not really know anything different. So we're super excited to share it with you today. And I want to open it up to questions that you have of what I've shared with you today, or if we can dabble into anything any deeper.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Claudia. Really fascinating. Lots of innovation clearly going on in the space. We've got some questions that come through online, but before we do those, has anyone got any questions in the audience first before we go to those? Anyone? Okay, so, there is one.
Thank you. Jason from White Light. What would you think are the current challenges that are stopping people from adopting this type of technology as it stands at the moment?
I think it's probably even just the adoption okay? Those of us that are not from that younger generation, if you think about even getting an NFT or a non-fungible token and going into a cryptocurrency, not understanding that. I mean, I think it back to even when Twitter first came out and getting yourself a Twitter account and being able to play in that space. So something that needs to be simple enough to just start to play in. If I think back to even the world of virtual events and big exhibitions and congresses, trying to get people into a space and to log on and to get build something out that's going to take 20, 30 minutes, it's too difficult and people are already time starved. So probably ensuring that things are easy and simple to understand and not overcomplicated, ensuring that stays true to that. So simple and easy. Okay.
Great, and then, I can read them out, or I'll read them out. Currently, it feels to me like the NFTs and metaverse are creations by and for the super rich. When do you envisage these type of things being widely accessible to the average person?
Yeah, I personally think if we think about retail are usually the ones that are dabbling into these new spaces first and doing things that are quite shocking oftentimes. You think about those Balenciaga fashion shows, most people are looking at that and thinking, oh, that's quite different and not sure how to handle that. The NFTs are still quite new, but they are evolving and becoming more and more unique. I think it's the press that is really promoting and talking about some of this, of things that are being sold. It feels very shocking, right? It is a headline to the newspaper for an article. The reality is NFTs are being exchanged on a daily basis and aren't limited to just the super rich. It is, the Gen Z that are completely involved in this. And I think it's up to us to probably learn and understand that space and continue to build and create in that.
Interesting second question there. Do you think Facebook have overextended themselves with their commitments to the metaverse? No comment?
I mean, yeah, I'm probably not in that place to I would default to our chief technology officer or someone to answer that. I think they were brave and bold to jump into that, and that is something that they should be very proud of. We need innovators. We need those that are disruptive. We need those that are trying new things. If we didn't, we would keep doing the same thing. So I applaud Facebook. I think back to as well when we moved over from this live space going into virtual space. Malcolm Gladwell said, this is the time for everyone to try things differently. It's okay to fail. It's okay to not do everything right, because that's how we learn and that's how we improve. And that's what we need to challenge ourselves to keep doing.
Yeah. And final question, what are the biggest challenges you face in delivering engaging experiences in the virtual and hybrid spaces, particularly where clients don't have the enormous budgets such as General Motors and Samsung?
Yeah, I mean, I shared some, beautiful work with clients that have done this and really want to make a statement. But I think the virtual and the digital space is actually, it's repeatable and it's scalable. And so with an initial investment in something like this, the wider conversation is to have actually is the reach that you will have and the repeatability and the duplicity of something that is that. It may be a larger investment in the upfront, but actually creating something that users can keep returning to and understand the longer term investment, certainly you will have that ROI and see that coming back to you.
Brilliant. Any final questions at all from the audience? Oh.
Where do you think everything's going in terms of intelligent NFTs?
Oh gosh. Okay, you have me a little baffled on that one. I would say there, again, it probably is with those that are living in this tech space and understanding that. It's a couple years out in being able to have that data and insight. A lot of these technology companies probably have the entire back end of understanding that. I also just wanted to comment on, there was a fair amount of bad rap that NFTs were getting in the amount of energy consumption that is being used. That is a continual evolution of what is being worked on and an evolving technology that there's a bit of a misnomer on that in being able to have digital tokens in that. And so that's a little bit on the traceability. If you think about the blockchain, the sell is that it is exactly unique to you and not repeatable, and no one else can have this, which is why all of the energy consumption is required and allows for some intelligence as well. But there are improvements that are being made on that. If we go back to even thinking about Web 1 and what that was and the scalability and how that's improved, I'm expecting that to continue in the same way.
Brilliant. I think we're pretty much at time there, so thank you so much, Claudia Stephenson from Invent.
Thank you.
I presume you're hanging around this afternoon?
Yes, I'll be around
Contact
to
details
take
on the
all
screen.
your questions.
Brilliant. Round of applause. Thank you.